Cartoons, the animated frontier. These are the voyages of the Cellcast podcast. Its continuing mission to explore strange new cartoons, to seek out new animation styles and new creative storytelling methods, to boldly go where so few ever go again. To another episode of the Cellcast
Reactions.
Joining me today is a man who he's feeling a little fishy recent today. Welcome, Jacob.
I didn't realize I was growing gills. That's kind of weird. What's going on? Why, thank you. And let you introduce our co-host, a man who is just trying to blend in with all the rest of humanity when you realize he's a fish. Welcome, Drew.
Well, you know what they say. The seaweed is always greener in somebody else's lake. You think about going up there like those two stupid Italian boys. Anyway, today we are reacting to Luca, which we are about a week late on in reality. But we're a week late because Disney released it straight to Disney Plus instead of putting it in theaters, so it kind of bypassed all our normal ways of keeping up with such things.
Thank you, Disney.
It should have gone to theaters. That's all I'm saying.
Agreed. Completely
but
agreed.
We are also taking advantage of the fact that it didn't go to theaters by, in between our recordings of the reactions, we're also recording
something new.
Something else. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll go ahead and announce this. We've been, what's the word I'm looking for? Teasing something we're working on called Project AU. Well, Project AU is actually, we're making a Patreon.
Yes.
And we would like, and the first thing we're going to let y'all have on our Patreon, there's going to be a couple things, but one thing we're going to have for exclusive content for y'all is we're going to make a commentary track for Luca. So all you got to do is when you get ready to watch it, or at least maybe watch it a second time, and this, of course, you have to actually be on the Patreon. You actually have to give us money. I believe at the, I think it's at the $10 level. I will double check that before I put this out there. But I believe it is the $10 level, and you'll be able to listen and watch with us.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and also with the $10 level, what our plans are is we do Luca. And we start getting a Patreon following, and so then we start like putting out polls and be like, "Hey, what if, among the movies we have done so far?"
Yeah.
We'll put out a poll and say, "Hey, among these movies, what would be the next movie you want us to review?"
We're also going to put out there our bloopers from our actual recording sessions, and from time to time, when we get around to it, we might be reviewing some other non-animated movies.
Yeah.
And maybe some little bonus discussions we might decide to do.
Exactly.
We're not fully 100% what we're doing, but you are going to get some additional content on there as we get it done. So yeah.
And plus art from yours truly.
Indeed. So if you want any of that, go to patreon.com, search for the Cellcast podcast, and I believe I will have the link to the Patreon in the show notes before we release this, so you can just go check your show notes on your device or on the website cellcast.podbean.com, and I'll have a link there too. And yeah, come support us financially. Don't get me wrong, we love your support even if you can't pay
exactly.
us. That's why the podcast itself, the main show, and the reactions, and the animated series whenever I put episodes out, and any other shorts. That's all standard free stuff. It's going to be in your same podcast feed you've had this whole time. This is just an additional feed to get some bonus content and get us a little bit of extra money to help support the podcast so we can maybe in the future update equipment, 90% of this movie is going back into the podcast one way or another.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because the thing is, right now, people, we're paying for hosting ourselves. Namely, I'm paying for hosting because I've never actually bugged Jacob for money. So we're just trying to get this in a way where it's like the podcast is paying for itself. Is the big thing. And I know everybody and their dog who has a podcast has a Patreon, and we're going to try not to be as annoying about it. In fact, we're not even doing the shout out thing that is so popular because while we don't dislike it, we don't really want to do it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Hey guys, we are basically doing this because we really want to just get more content to you guys and just to like expand our fan base and the Cell Nation out there. Mm-hmm. And so guys, if you want to go to the $5 level, which I think is going to be our blooper, what is that?
It's the $10 level is going to have all the audio on it.
Yeah, 10's going to have audio. 5 is going to have art from yours truly. So I will probably be putting out.
And bear in mind, the $10 includes everything at the $5. So.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, yeah, it's a really good deal, and I've wanted from the start when it comes to this Patreon not to put it too far out there for individuals or families that are going to struggle to pay to, oh my gosh, I got to get all this content. Wanting to make it accessible to everybody and not be like, oh, if you pay $100, we'll do all these crazily ridiculous things.
Yeah,
it's just be like, hey, we want to show you guys the love that you guys have shown us, and so we are kind of extending that with a Patreon and hoping you guys will plug in and get this community growing.
Well, and I think we can both easily agree that we've both been a part of crowdfunding projects before.
Yeah,
and we recognize that some of those ludicrous things that people put at the $100 level or whatever are things they expect nobody to ever do, so they don't ever expect anyone to do them.
Exactly.
People do them, and then that takes away from the project.
Exactly.
Our goal here is kind of like PBS. We don't want to take away from what we're doing. We want to put this on top of it.
Exactly.
So that's this. We won't be this commercially about it. Talk this commercially about it. Every episode, we might just have a pre-recorded thing in the outro, added to the outro, and that's going to be about it.
Exactly.
But other than that, I think we need to quit with the Patreon commercial for now and actually talk about what we're thinking about with Luca.
Yeah.
I know virtually nothing about this movie, and that's on purpose.
Yeah.
What I know is, I know it's made by Pixar. I know it should have been in theaters. Mm-hmm. I know that it takes place in Italy. I know it's about two boys. I haven't quite figured out from looking at any of the promotional materials. I've tried to keep myself away from a lot of that. If the boys turn into sea monsters or if they're sea monsters who turn into boys.
Yeah.
I don't know that part yet. But I know somehow that's interconnected. And I know apparently that the comedian Jim Gaffigan has a role.
Okay.
That is all I know. Oh,
yeah.
Also, this is the director's first feature-length film.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because I looked at his IMDb. He's only done he's only directed one other thing, and that was a short.
Okay.
And I can't remember what the short was right now.
Alrighty.
But anyway.
Yeah. I'm excited about this.
I'll bring that up right quick while we're talking.
Yeah. There again, be like for this film, I like Drew. I hardly knew anything about it. I know it's about two boys in a little Italian island community, and it's something about. It's like, according to the trailers, like they can, like either they are from the sea or they're ancestral from the sea or something like that. So whenever they, get in the water, they turn into fish people. So, and it looks like a fun romp of two, it looks like brothers. Brothers are best friends. And they befriend this little red-haired girl who's like becomes their best friend, and they just, hang out and, I don't know. Like, it's very mystery to me. So I've been keeping away from everybody talking about Luca. You got to watch Luca. You got to do this. So yeah, this is going to be a very raw reaction to this movie, and I'm really excited about it. So yeah, that is my 2 cents on that.
Okay, so the short he directed was La Luna. Which
La Luna!
Now that I'm looking at this, I remember. I just can't remember what movie it was connected to.
Yeah.
Apparently the family next door is home. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for our pre-show reactions.
Yeah.
So join us on the other side of the bumpers, and we will jump into our spoiler-free review, and then do our spoiler-filled review.
Yeah.
All right, we will see y'all on the other side.
Ray, riff wrong. Okay. This progress is a part of Christian Geek Central Network. Wrong.
Hey, Scoop, what are you doing, man?
I don't know. I'm supposed to be reading an ad.
All right, hold on. Give me it.
Okay.
All right. This podcast is part of the Christian Geek Central Network at ChristianGeekCentral.com.
There you can find a collection of blogs and podcasts working together to bring you some of the best content on the web for Christian geeks, such as Helix Reviews. Helix Reviews is a podcast where David Arrington reviews movies, music, comic books, video games, and all kinds of media, all from a Christian geek worldview. His hope for this podcast is that it will be entertaining, informative, and interesting, but will also get you thinking about the media you are consuming. Do you like Star Wars? I don't just mean the original trilogy. Along with that, I mean the prequels, the sequels, the anthologies, the animated shows, and of course, who doesn't like Baby Yoda? Well, if you've been in the fandom for any length of time, you know how toxic the fandom can get. And if you'd like to be able to discuss a galaxy far, far away in a much more positive light, might I suggest searching out The Outer Rim, a Facebook group dedicated to all of Star Wars, and check out their YouTube channel, which you can easily find at Pop Americana, which the podcast you're currently listening to is also a part of. To find that and more, check out the link in the description. Well, that was a fun movie.
That was. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, if you got Disney Plus, definitely go watch it because it's pretty much free.
Yeah,
if you go there. We do wish it was in theaters because there's a lot of shots here that would have been absolutely gorgeous in a movie theater.
Yeah. Why couldn't you have like a 100-inch TV just on the wall? That'd be amazing.
I don't have that kind of money.
Okay.
Because that's like $1,000.
Yeah.
Or more. I don't have that kind of money.
We'll just do what Luca and Luca and his friend did. Be like, okay, we're gonna win the race and make the money to get the big TV.
Do you see this? Do you see my spare tire? It ain't happening, buddy. As much as I would want it to, it ain't happening. Yeah, but if y'all hadn't, it's a fun movie. You got the trio of friends.
Yeah. Of how they meet and everything. It's just it's
a fun movie. Y'all gotta go watch it.
Yeah, it's just a lot. It's fun. It's got some laughs. It's got some great world building, great character development. It's got like some nice twists and turns. Be like it's nothing new that we haven't seen. It's nothing new under the sun. Mm-hmm. But it's got some heart. It's got some amazing heart behind it. And it's the idea of be like going out on your own and exploring and trying to discover who you are and gaining experience and gaining friends along the way. And the ending of this film is so I was almost moved to tears. Where it was there again, if you are listening to this and you have not watched the film, go watch it, please. It's amazing, and come back and listen to us later. Yeah, but
we'll jump into spoiling this thing here in just a second.
Yeah, exactly. It's just it's a movie that has such heart and such just kind of like brotherly love. Mm-hmm. Brotherly love. If you have siblings, it'd be like you'll understand what I mean. I
know me right out of that. Why don't?
Yeah, I know. Some of us don't have siblings, but if you
I'm teasing you more than anything else.
Grazie.
Hey, Santa Mozzarella.
I don't know how to take that.
I'm just using the terminology they used in the movie. Anyway, now that I've completely gotten you off your thought process.
No, let's yeah.
Okay. Expected you to keep talking. I guess we'll go ahead and jump into the spoiler-filled section then.
Yeah.
The following is a spoiler-filled review. The following is a spoiler-filled reaction to Disney Pixar's Luca. Listener discretion is advised. This is a really good movie.
Yeah,
I hate to
no
repeat
kidding.
myself, but
No kidding. Be like it's like you're dealing with a boy who is lived within the confines of his parents' world, and now he wants to literally jump out of the water, or jump into a new world. And there's so many little parallels between like different Disney films. If you're there's so many different parallels. It's not even funny. And
we were calling them out pretty much there.
Yeah, we were pretty much in our Patreon exclusive content. So yeah, it's the story of Luca, who is a young shepherd boy,
No, shepherd
Fish.
sea monster.
shepherd sea monster, who discovers a friend who is
He shepherds shish.
yeah, he shepherds fish.
No, I said shish.
Shish. Okay.
Shish. Shish.
Shish.
It's a combination of sheep and fish.
Okay.
Shish.
Yeah. Shish.
Shisha. Yeah, be very careful how you
Yeah,
say that.
Say that.
Shish.
Yes. Shish. Well, shark. But either way, be like, yeah, Luca befriends Laberto, who is more this rebellious little teenager who basically encourages him to come out of the water and to explore the human world, and it's two people bonding over an idea of wanting to get a Vespa or a scooter.
Well, Vespa branded scooter.
Yeah, Vespa brand scooter.
Which we've got the splash screen on Disney Plus up now, and it shows all three of them on a Vespa.
Yeah.
That is not the Vespa they get.
No, it's not. It's a piece of junk.
Yeah. They never get that Vespa.
No,
In fact,
they don't get that Vespa.
they don't keep that. The Vespa they do get, they don't keep.
No, they don't. And it's very touching how that variant of the film. So it's these two characters who are going on a journey. Be like Luca, basically disobeying his parents in order to discover the world, like a certain mermaid from a certain film that we've done a review over, and it's just those two young boys who are going on a journey, and where I'm forgetting his name for the second. Alberto, yeah. Alberto is telling him all these things about the world, and you're quickly realizing, let's say, wait a minute, this guy sounds like Scuttle from The Little Mermaid. He doesn't know exactly what's going on, and the whole fish scenes and the big fish. He was looking up at the stars, like the Lion King scene. The moonfish of the starfish. It should have been a starfish. But either way.
Yeah, they should have been starfish, but nope, they were just fish.
They were fish. Shark. But yeah, it's and then they're running into Julia, who's a very odd, again, oddball. Just like these other.
She's from out of town. She apparently loves going to school.
Yeah, she's a book nerd.
Yeah,
she's a book nerd, and so it's those three bonding over the race and this. I guess you would call it a triathlon.
Kinda.
Yeah, it's triathlon.
Because you had to swim to a buoy and back.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had to scarf down a bunch of pasta, then ride to the top of the mountain, and then ride back down on a bicycle.
Yeah. Good night.
No wonder she threw up. I'm surprised we're all throwing up.
Yeah, that'd be hard enough for anybody.
Well, I guess they were switching out between. So it really wasn't a triathlon. It was more of a triathlon combined with a
relay
race.
Yeah. It's and then you get the conflict between the two characters of Luca and Alberto. you see their goals are they're different.
Mm-hmm.
Where Alberto and Julia have kind of bonded over their love of learning and understanding, and his desire is expanded from be like, oh, let's get a Vespa and go explore, to I want to explore more, I want to learn.
Well, in many ways, the way I felt was Alberto, he was just trying to run away from the island the whole time. That's why he really wanted the Vespa.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The reason Luca wanted the Vespa was because that was the easiest way he could get out and explore the world beyond his underwater field, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he wanted more out of life than just, watching shish.
Yeah, shish.
And yeah, I mean, that's the reason why they wanted the Vespa. And it turned out halfway through the movie that their actual desires caused them to have to split.
Yeah,
split ways. So when you get to the end and Alberto gives up the Vespa so he can buy the ticket to send Luca off to school, that was him saying, you know what? Yeah, I'm off the island, but honestly, maybe I don't need to run away from it. Maybe I need to be right here.
Yeah.
And we'll let my friend go off to learn and expand his horizons as he wishes.
Yeah. And it's the idea that, like, at the very end of the film where they are, it's like, yeah, we're separating, but we're not going to be still together as friends. The fact to be like you're always, because what I've learned from this friendship is never going to dissipate. Uh-huh. And he's gonna be with Julia. He's gonna be with another friend, but it's where sometimes we have this idea of separation anxiety, where I can't do this without my best friend or a family member or something like that, and it's just like they're always with you.
Yeah,
and kind of use the Christ parallel that. We if you go onto like mission field, and we did a really good study over going into foreign missions and that kind of stuff. But it was the idea that like you're never alone, because the Christ is always going to be with you, no matter where you are. If you're in the den with the lions, you're not alone. Like, even though in the valley of the shadow of death, I will feel no evil. And in the same way that these two friends, they're not going to be separated. Mm-hmm. They're still going to be a part of each other, and their lives are now intertwined. And I love that. I love that. It's just it's an amazing little story, and the point where Alberto is they've going back to a little further into the third act, where they have now Luca and Alberto they've come cross with each other. They come across with each other, and basically Alberto says, yeah, what if you thought we were really the sea monsters? And that even causes more tension.
Yeah.
Where Luca says, oh, he's a sea monster, basically just disfranchising himself with his friend. Kind of like how Peter denied Christ 3 times. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't know. They're like, it's a sea monster. Like, I don't know him. What are you talking about? And I'd be like that.
But you can see the look of betrayal.
It was
Alberto's eyes when he says that. It's like, admittedly, that is the lowest point of the film. It's when when the 3 friends are fighting like that, mm-hmm. and their secret gets revealed, even though it turns out it's not that big a deal.
No, it's not. It's the idea of like they win the race, and our antagonist, who is like the biggest jerk on the planet. It's like, one, dude, you're too old to win this race.
Obviously, everyone's saying so.
Yeah, you're picking on kids. Like you're doing bully and fear tactics to little children, mm-hmm. and that kind of shows the immaturity of you and the character wise. But at the end, where Luca and Alberto and by extension Julia win the race, it comes clean of like, oh, okay. It's like, well, they did win. And the Julia's father comes up and like the biggest, baddest man in town walks up and like, it's like, yeah, I know who they are. They're Luca and Alberto.
Yeah. And they're the winners of the race.
They're the winners of the race.
That's who they are.
Yeah, and everybody's like, oh, okay, so yeah, we're not hunting monsters anymore.
Yeah.
And then our villain gets his comeuppance, which is just great. And then he's more like, no, they're the monsters. You're like, hey.
Well, I mean, they didn't tear up the poster for the sea monster thing until the other two old ladies revealed they were actually the sea monsters too. And
Yeah.
all their friends like, yeah, we're just going to tear this up because we actually like these people.
Yeah, these are cool people. It's using ideas of I'm out of lost words for the second.
I noticed. That's why I marked it.
Okay.
It's hard for me to talk about this one because I actually really liked it, but I did not like it to the extent I liked Raya and the Last Dragon.
Okay.
It's a fun, enjoyable movie. It has a great story.
Yeah.
It's not at the top of Pixar's list for me.
Okay.
I think it's got some other good ones, some better films in there. But I mean, yeah, this was a fun one.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I would agree. I enjoyed the movie tremendously. I love the character growth and the character development of our characters, and just like being yourself, and not just be like, oh, I'm going to be like the person that my parents tell me to be or something like that. It's just growing into the person I'm supposed to be. I'm destined to be or something like that. Not in any other kind of parallel like that, but it's just. It's an amazing film. I love it. It's got a lot of heart. It's got a lot of joy. It's got its high. It's got its really deep valley, and it's staying by your friends no matter what. Even though, like, yeah, things kind of went downhill, and figuratively and literally, and it's just like, you know what? I'm going to stick by you no matter what. If it's revealing that, hey, I'm actually a sea monster and I'm going to save my friend from the antagonist. And it's a sweet film. It's a sweet film. It's a very enjoyable film. I don't know where I'd put it in the Disney Pixar category. I'd have to mull over it for a little while.
Okay.
But yeah, it's so good. It's such a great film. Yeah, go watch it. If you haven't already, it's on Disney Plus, and I know a lot of our listeners already have. But yeah, just go watch this film. It's amazing. We will do a proper review for this film
at some point
later on.
Yeah, but yeah, that's going to bring us, I think, to the end of this reactions episode. So yeah, I guess until the next episode, this has been Drew.
This is Jacob,
and we'll catch you in the next frame.
Cool.
Come, Jacob, we must prepare for next week.
Prepare for what, Drew?
The same thing we do every week, Jacob. Record a podcast!
Oh, boy.
So where can they find you, Jacob?
You can find me on Facebook at Jacob B. Heron, also on Facebook at Jacob's Daily Art Corner, where I try to draw each and every day. I don't get to it as often as I like, but join me there. Also, you can find me on Instagram at Jacob B. Heron, on Twitter at Jacob Heron, and Letterboxd at Jacob Heron. So where can they find you, Drew?
You can also follow me on Letterboxd at GGeorge759, Facebook as Drew Dodgen, my Facebook page where you can see pictures I've taken at Drew's Photo Bin. You can also follow me on Twitter at GGeorge759.
You can email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com.
You can also follow us on Twitter at cast_cell.
You can follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/thecellcastgaming.
You can also follow us on YouTube at Cellcast.
Listen to our podcast on Apple Podcasts,
Google Play Podcasts,
Stitcher,
Spotify,
and your favorite podcast directory.
You can also listen to us on the Movie of the Week podcast with Jim Heron, where we talk about live-action movies. And remember, Cell is a single L.